I never thought I'd live to see the day my own flesh and blood would turn against me. But life has a way of cutting deepest where you never expect it. When betrayal comes from a stranger, it stings. When it comes from your family, it destroys you. My story begins with a night I'll never forget. It was raining heavily. I was sitting by the window, waiting for my son, Amir, to come home. He had been gone all day, and something about the silence in the house felt wrong. A mother always knows, doesn't she? That strange knot in her chest, the uneasy feeling in her bones. Something was about to happen, and then I heard a knock on the door, but it wasn't Amir. It was two men I had never seen before, tall, broad-shouldered, their faces half hidden under dripping jackets. One of them spoke with a voice that was both calm and threatening. "Are you Amir's mother?" "Yes," I said, my voice trembling. He smirked and handed me an envelope. "Then you'll want to read this. Your son owes us." Before I could ask anything, they turned and disappeared into the darkness. I shut the door with shaking hands and opened the envelope. Inside was a note. Scrawled in Amir's handwriting, "Mama, don't worry. I just borrowed some money. I'll pay it back soon. Please trust me." But there was something else in the envelope. A list of numbers. Debt. Huge amounts of debt. My son had gotten himself tangled with dangerous people. My heart sank. Amir was my only child. I had raised him alone after his father died in an accident. I had given him everything, every sacrifice, every dream I had. I poured it into him. And now he had brought danger straight to my doorstep. That night, I didn't sleep. I just stared at the ceiling, asking myself again and again, why didn't he come to me? Why would he lie? But the truth I would discover later was far worse than debt. The next morning, Amir finally came home. His clothes were damp, his face pale, and his eyes avoided mine. "Amir," I said softly, "what have you done?" "Mama, it's nothing, just business, don't worry." But I couldn't let it go. I grabbed his wrist and looked straight into his eyes. "Tell me the truth." And for the first time, I saw something in him I had never seen before. Coldness, distance. Like I wasn't his mother anymore, just an obstacle in his way. He pulled his hand back roughly. "Stay out of it. Stay out of it." Those words echoed in my mind all day. Days passed. Strange men began appearing around the neighborhood. They would park across the street, sit in their cars, watching. Sometimes they would pass by slowly, their eyes following me. My heart raced every time I stepped out of the house. Then, one evening, something happened that shattered me completely. I was in the kitchen preparing dinner when I heard Amir's voice in the living room. He was on the phone. His voice was low, urgent. I almost didn't recognize it. It wasn't my boy's voice anymore. "Yes, I've got it," he whispered. "She doesn't suspect a thing. I'll bring the documents tomorrow." I froze. Documents? What documents? Carefully, I peeked from the doorway. Amir was holding a small brown folder, my late husband's folder. Inside were the property papers of our home, the only security we had left in this world. My chest tightened. He was planning to give it away. To them. I couldn't stop myself. I rushed forward. "Amir, what are you doing with that?" He flinched, but then his face hardened. "It's none of your business." "This house is all we have," I cried. Your father worked his whole life for this. How could you? Enough, he shouted, slamming the folder on the table. His eyes were wild, his jaw clenched. You don't understand. I have no choice. No choice, my voice cracked. You always have a choice, Thamir. But you're choosing greed, you're choosing lies, and you're choosing to betray your own mother. His face went pale, but instead of guilt, I saw something darker, hatred. Without another word, he stormed out, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. That night, I cried like I hadn't cried since the day my husband died. The house felt colder than ever, empty, broken. And for the first time, I realized something. My son wasn't the little boy I raised anymore. He was a stranger. But the worst was yet to come. The next morning, I woke to the sound of voices, men's voices. I hurried to the living room, and there they were, the same two men who had come to my door before, and Amir, standing between them. He didn't even look at me. Sign the papers, Mama, Amir said flatly. I felt my knees weaken. What are you saying? These men will take care of everything. Just sign. I looked at him in disbelief. You're asking me to sign away our home, our life? Amir, how could you? One of the men stepped forward, placing the papers on the table, his hand resting dangerously close to his jacket pocket. Do it, or things get ugly. My hands trembled. My son's eyes were cold. There was no love, no warmth, nothing left. In that moment, something inside me broke. I realized my son had already betrayed me in the cruelest way possible. He had chosen them over me. He had chosen money over blood. And so, I refused. I won't sign. The room went silent. The men exchanged glances. Amir's face twisted with rage. Mama, don't make this harder. Just sign it. No, I whispered, tears streaming down my face. I won't. One of the men slammed his fist on the table, sending the papers flying. My heart pounded, but I stood my ground. You'll regret this, Amir hissed. And then they all left, slamming the door behind them. For days after, I lived in fear. I barely slept, barely ate. I locked the doors, kept the curtains drawn. But the silence was worse than anything. Had Amir truly gone that far? Would he really hurt me for money? Then, one evening, there was another knock on the door. This time, it wasn't men in jackets. It was the police. And behind them, Amir. But this time, he wasn't standing tall or proud. His hands were cuffed. His face was pale, broken. Ma'am, one of the officers said gently, we're arresting your son for fraud and association with a criminal gang. We found evidence he was using your property to launder money. My knees gave way and I collapsed onto the chair. I couldn't breathe. My son, my boy, was a criminal. As they led him away, Amir finally looked at me. His eyes weren't cold this time. They were filled with something else. Regret. Mama, he whispered, his voice breaking. I'm sorry. And just like that, he was gone. It's been months since that day. The house is quiet now, emptier than ever. Sometimes I sit by the window, staring at the street, waiting for a son who will never come home again. Betrayal is the deepest wound a mother can carry. Strangely, it also taught me something. Love is powerful, but love without respect, without honesty, it becomes a weapon. I gave my son everything, but I forgot to give him the one thing that mattered most. Boundaries. I forgave every mistake, covered every flaw, hoping love would be enough. But sometimes, love blinds us. Now, I've learned to stand stronger, to never let fear silence me again. And if you're listening to my story tonight, I want you to remember this. Even the deepest betrayal can't destroy you unless you let it. Sometimes the people you love most will hurt you, but don't lose yourself in their choices. Stay strong, stay true, because in the end, strength is the only thing no one can steal from you.